here's the problem with a lot of these guys, and it's impressive how they do this, because what he's saying again isn't completely wrong. My husband worked in recovery. There is a big problem in America with recovery programs. They are not great. There's a lot of people making money. There are revolving doors. That aspect that he's pointing out is not entirely wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that the alternative is go to the Taliban rehab and then we go into crazy town. And now, well, if you really want to get red pilled, go get sober in Afghanistan. Like, it doesn't.
But I love this idea, and I know you're partially agreeing with him on the American rehab bit, which is it's a racket. But the thing about that is everything is a racket. Telling people that they should get treatment in Kabul is also a racket because you're making money off it. You're making money off of, Nick Fuentes and all this nonsense. But, it would have been nice of him to stop for a second and point out that it was, in fact, the Taliban in Afghanistan that produce all the poppies that get people hooked on heroin. It's like, so they have, it's a bit of a racket in Afghanistan. We produce the heroin, you do it, and then we cut your hands off if you touch it again. And it's like, is that truly? I mean, obviously, it's a stupid and insane point. And we're about, a half a click from Tucker Carlson going on his own show and saying, we found a solution to all the problems in the inner city. There's no crime in Pyongyang. North Korea has just figured it out. It's like, yes, as you get less democratic, you can quote unquote solve things, right? By having see, this is the debate that we had in the 20th century, was the trade-off between civil liberties and, government power. It's like, that is the balance of a great place like America. You have to figure out how much of this and how much of that. You can't, encroach on people's rights while allowing them to destroy themselves. But it's also going to destroy society. There's all this stuff that social scientists have been researching and writing about for years. But he's come along with this great thing of you want to get red pilled? By the way, is red pilled becoming an Islamist now? Is that what red pill means? I mean, but the reason I played that.
Yes, actually, I think it does. I think that's the next iteration of it.
I do also like that he clarifies, and he always does this, that he's a Christian. He's like, I'm not a Muslim. It's like, that's surprising to me because it's starting to sound like you are. But that whole thing, I play that not just to dunk on. It's just too fun to not take on the so-called argument there. But it's just because that kind of stuff is where you end up, because you run out of things. I mean, he's been going on Israel for so long, and he's like, you can't say this stuff. Nobody wants you to say it. They'll come after you. It's like, no, it's called debate, first of all. When people like us, quote unquote, come after you, we're engaging in debate about your ideas, not being paid by the nefarious horned Zionists, but we're having a conversation about it. But when that kind of, loses its appeal, it's like taking drugs and they start not having the same kick after a while.
Yeah.
Gets adjusted to it. So now you have to come up with things like, let's get Nick Fuentes on the show. He's been denouncing me for a long time. I mean, they're fighting, not because Nick Fuentes is a racist, by the way, and an anti-Semite, but because of other stupid internecine fights that you have in the conservative movement, or whatever this is. I guess it's the conservative movement. But that is a version of it. You have to go step it up a little bit. And then you have to start saying the Taliban's pretty good. I bet no one thought of this. This will shock you.
But they say this on the left.
The fucking Islamists cut people's hands off if they do drugs. That doesn't.
This is what's crazy though. They're already marching in the streets from academia is also kind of saying this. It's just.
Oh yeah, I mean, in various
completely bonkers too. So now I feel like maybe the bonkers is just balancing out. Yeah. I will say, as someone who was very left-wing and was pushing back against the left and begging them to kind of open their eyes to how they were pushing normal people away with some of their more extreme ideas, they didn't have this debate. And I will say, at least on the right, from what I can tell, there is a big debate going on, somewhat of a civil war on the right over like again, what Nick was saying, you know, we own this movement. He's not entirely wrong. You see very big figures in media drifting in this direction because they see the writing on the wall.